Hey, buddy, what's up, brother Wes?
I got to tell you, Randy, it has been a hot minute since you and I have done a recording at all, or
It,
actually
it,
spoken.
it
We've
has
been
been.
kind of busy this year.
We've been busy and we did some rack and stacks, got ahead of the game, and you've been on your power workout health and fitness program. How's that going, by the way?
It's going pretty good. I dropped 19.7 pounds the first week, and then dropped 7.5 this week.
I just say I didn't recognize you. I was looking for you for a minute. I said, "Where's Wes?" And then I
Yeah, well, if I turn
recognized it.
sideways, I just disappear. It just looks like a bookshelf back there.
I understand. I understand. Well, you're looking good, man. Keep it up,
If
buddy.
you
That's
believe that
great.
one, I'll tell you another one.
Yeah, well, I was just believing it because you're running all the buttons and switches, and you got this uncanny ability to make me look good or bad, and so I'm gonna like be good. So, but
Well, you always look good, but I'll tell you what, not as good looking as our guest, because we have got somebody here is not only a person from the industry, but it's part of a team that we worked with before. So the whole coffee shop setup has been just absolutely great to our show, and we can't thank them enough. And today
oh,
we have one of
absolutely.
the greats from that.
Exactly. Karen Edwards, she's the COO, and man, I'll tell you, everything the coffee shop people do with all their different coffee shops for the different industries, and they do some great stuff. I was on with Karen back in Atlanta a couple months ago at the MetalCon, and they always do a sound stage at the show, and it's always fun to jump on and do an interview with her or whoever. And yeah, they do some great stuff for the industry. And so here's the deal. We can talk for another hour or two and Karen will go to sleep, or we can just like be done with us and go get her. What do you think?
I think we better get her before she eats all the M&Ms from the green room.
Is there M&Ms in the green room? I'll be
I
back.
know
I'll
that
be
that
right
was
back.
okay. Okay. All right, let's get to her.
Let's do it. Hey, my friend, how are you, Karen?
Hi, Randy. Thank you so much for the M&Ms.
You're welcome.
Wow.
I'm just a little disappointed because if I didn't knew there's M&Ms in the green room, I'd have slipped on over there real quick.
Well, they were delicious. There are some
Awesome.
left if you want to get some
Okay,
when
that's
we're
very,
done.
very, very, very nice. Very nice. Well, welcome. Thank you for jumping on Building Wins. It's funny when we talked a couple weeks ago, and I forgot as long as we've known each other and done stuff together with the different coffee shops, that I never had you on Building Wins, which is strange and weird, but we're fixing that today. So,
I am here. Yes, and I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And it's always fun to have a conversation with you, Randy.
well, hey, I'm so old that I got lots to say, and so that's why I talk fast sometimes and loud. I'm accused of talking too fast and too loud, and that's because I have lots to say and I'm old, so I have limited time, right? So, it might be the last conversation I ever have, so I want to get it out.
Well, hey, yeah, that's important. But you've got all these recordings and you've got this show, so
There you
your
go.
your words will
Well,
go on.
they will go on in infamy, maybe, but I don't know if that's good or bad. But well, welcome. So you are the COO, if I get the right, of the coffee shops. So for anybody that's silly enough not to know, tell us about the coffee shops and how that started, and just a brief. Who the heck are you guys? Or anybody silly enough, like I said, not to know?
Sure, I don't know how anyone couldn't know, but
I
the
would be
the
surprised, but
OG, the original gangster is Roofer's Coffee Shop, and that started. Vicky Sharples had a newspaper that used to go out to the distributors and sit on the counter, and contractors would get their industry news, and they would get their classified ads. They'd buy and sell equipment and whatnot. And when the internet became a thing, late
yeah.
'90s, early 2000s, Vicky said, everybody's going online. I need to be online as well. And she reached out to Heidi Ellsworth, our
Hmm.
president and CEO. She is our visionary if you follow the EOS world. And
Yes.
she said, why not have a coffee shop? Because if her dad was a contractor, and when he went into a new town and wasn't familiar with where the local distributor was or where to find some day labor, he would always stop by the coffee shop early in the morning, get a cup of coffee,
Ah.
meet up with the other contractors, and get the news about what was going on. So we've created in 2002 rooferscoffeeshop.com, really known a lot for his forums in its infancy. Roofers from all around the US would come and talk to each other and ask about, hey, is anyone having this problem? Or did you ever see this before? And they'd share photos. And it really just has grown from there. And as you can see, he's showing the other ones. We've opened a metal coffee shop since then, coatings coffee shop. And then we have Ask a Roofer, which is a platform where homeowners, building owners, anyone with a question can send it in and get their question answered. And we have also a lot of articles, advice, information, roofing terms. So we really have built a space online to be a community for the industry, and then a little bit for our home and building owners, our customers as well.
Well said. And I always listen to this. I always love hearing the story told because I've heard it a couple hundred times from you or Heidi or Megan or whoever. I hear the story, and I always love the story because you're so right. It takes me back. It harkens. Look at I'm a wordsmith today.
Ooh.
It harkens me back to the old days in the small town I grew up in. And my dad was a contractor, a builder, and I worked with him. And you're exactly right. Every day started at the little local coffee shop. They had the big table where like 8, 10, 12, typically men, but just would come in and sit and drink coffee and have a donut. And you're right. You solved the world's problems. You knew everybody. If you needed somebody to do something, you needed help, everybody's, oh, Billy's probably available today. I don't think he's working at the feed mill, right? And you'd literally get what you needed. And I just love the concept. And you guys have taken it so far, an industry leader in our industries, whether it's metal or regular roofing or coatings, or with the Ask the Roofer, the premier voice in the industry. And it's just excited to be involved in any small way with you guys. So, kudos to everything you guys have done.
Oh, well, thank you, Randy. And we love, seeing you at shows, having you on the soundstage, because you're one of those people that you're out there every day, right? You've got your pulse on what's going on in the industry. And so when we're at an event like that, we'll be like, oh, Randy, hey, what are you seeing out there? What are people talking about? And you're so good at, visiting with us and just sharing what you're seeing. You put it out there. You give that back to the industry. I think that's fabulous.
Well, you know what? And I think, well, thank you for saying that. And I think it's important to give back to the to the industry with which you live, right? We live in this industry, and you can't be all take and no give. I mean, you can try that, but it's the long run. I've always found it an old adage, but you'll always, if you give freely, you always get way more back. I don't know, 10x, a lot of X's, 100x, but a whole lot of X's more you'll get back if you just do what's right every day and engage and be involved. And that's what I love about conversation that you and I always end up in together. Is social media and virtual, and it's funny because we've taught before. I think once or twice together. Uh, I'm this old school guy, right? And learned to use at a little bit more older age, shall we say. I'm a little more mature. I'm going to use that sounds younger. Um, to be able to take all the lessons from old and we bring them into the new. And there's so many opportunities now, Karen, right? To make use of what we're doing right now, to make use of all kinds of virtual and social media. So what do you see? Because you lived it and you started to talk about it. So let's talk about the value of that to our industry, because it was coffee shop with a paper laying on a table, right? Now
Right.
it's this is our table. This is our piece of paper, right? Pretty important to the industry if you want to grow and be at the forefront now and in the future, right?
It sure is. Think about, I was on a call with somebody last week, and they used the phrase, they said, we have the world at our fingertips, right? When it comes to information and getting what you need. And if someone is searching for a product, a service, a contractor, whatever that is, and you don't have an online presence, you're not going to show up, right? They're
Right.
not gonna find you. And beyond just finding you, you have that social presence, but you have to be active. If I do find you in a search and I see that you haven't updated anything in the last 6 months, well, are you still active? Are you
Mhm.
still in the industry? Are you still working? How do I know that you are on top of the latest trends and what's happening? Well, I know that because I can see on your maybe it's a social media platform, maybe it's your YouTube channel. And this is where a lot of people say, "Well, I don't want to overshare," or "I," but you need to do that. And I will use
Yes.
a contractor as an example. When you go to that trade show for whatever industry you're in, you take pictures. Take a picture of your team in front of the sign. Take pictures with the people that you meet at the show. Share that information on your blog, on your social, on your Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever platforms you choose, because that shows that you are staying current. You're learning about the latest products, technologies, techniques, and that I should be able to trust you with fulfilling whatever my need is because I know that you care and you're doing that. So it's important to share.
Oh, it's just everything you just said, we could do an hour talk on, right?
Right.
Just in that little bit. And it's so let's dissect that for a second because I love everything you just said there. I'm just like I wanted to pump my fist, and I decided it's my show. I can do anything I want, or Wes will cut me off. But either way, but you know, going back to the start, many years ago, this funny thing called the WWW, like World Wide Web. I mean, we was all going, "What is that?" Right? And we soon figured out that if you didn't have a web page and could not be found, you didn't exist, right? That's
Right.
still there, but in my opinion, and tell me you agree or disagree. I think you do, but it's the same or even more so with social media. Is you can have two people doing the exact same thing. Person A has no social media, no virtual footprint at all. He might be 10 times better at what he does. But if the person over here is out talking to customers, showing at the shows, showing projects, showing the truck being loaded and headed out, the crew waving as they drive by, all those things that we do or that you should be doing, people they see that morning, noon, and night. Every time they jump on, they're seeing Billy Bob's roofing again, right? They're going, I don't know who this other guy. I've heard of him and he's been around, but this Billy Bob guy seems to be playing at the A game. And then, like you said, you go to trade shows, and I love that whole concept. I love the trade show concept and working them prior to, during, and after. Right? There's so much content you can get out of that by just using shooting video, stopping in and being on your sound stage, shooting a video with in front of the one of your favorite vendors' booth and chatting. Hey, I'm here, spending a few time, getting a little lesson from my screw company. Name it. It doesn't matter. That is huge stuff back to your audience locally, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to mention it's important that you don't need fancy equipment. Randy, you're on
Mm.
your phone right now.
I am
Right?
because all my fancy equipment died on me today. So it proves you can do it, right?
Right,
Exactly.
right. Yeah. I mean, today's smartphones are good, right? And you
Mm.
can buy little lavalier mics on Amazon
Hmm.
for under $50 that plug into your
Yep.
phone. There's so many ways
Right
to
here.
do it
These
that
little guys right here.
yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go, right there.
You got
Every
them.
trade show I have them. You got it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And so it you don't have to have that professional quality or that professional finish. And Randy, you just disappeared on me. So I'm going to keep talking and hope that you come back really soon if you can still hear me. There you are.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I disappeared for a minute, but I'm back.
Yeah.
I
So
made it back.
that was intentional.
No, not really, but I can see
Oh,
myself. Can you see me?
I can see you. See, and this is
Okay.
good because what's happening right now is very authentic, right? And
It
your
is.
stuff should be authentic. I mean, things happen, right? Oh, my camera turned off.
Yes.
You know what? I've been pushing my cat away from me while I've been talking
Right.
this whole time too.
Well,
So,
that
it's the real world and people want to
it
see
is.
and meet the real you.
They do, and it's a great point because I love how you set up at the sound stage at your shows. You set up. I've been on 'em many, many times. We're not being filmed with your logo screen behind us. We're sitting beside us. So you see people walking by, you see people stopping and looking. That's authentic. It's like when I do a lot of videos from shows, right? And I love doing them. I've done lives with Western shows, and people have said, "Well, aren't you worried about the loudspeaker coming on or somebody walking by and say, 'Hey, Randy?'" I said, "No, if they say, 'Hey, Randy,' I say, 'Hey, how you doing, Billy? Be right with you.'" And I keep on going. That is the raw, organic, authentic, what they want, right?
Yeah, I think, we used, well, not to go back 4 years and talk about bad things, but I think we saw a shift when we couldn't do things in person, right? We had to
Hmm.
do things on video calls and on Zooms and whatnot. And people used to, you hear a dog bark or a
Hmm.
kid, comes running in and says, "Hey, mom or dad," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, that's real life," and it's
Hmm.
okay. Where 10 years ago it would have been just horrifying to have had that happen. But yeah, authenticity is good. And we're at a show, we're seeing people, we're networking, we want to see that traffic in the background, because you kind of get a glimpse of what's going on at the show. And that's one of the reasons we do it, is because not everybody can go to the show. Maybe it
Right.
wasn't in their budget this year, maybe they didn't have the time, or maybe they had another commitment. Well, hey, follow along live. And if you can't follow along live, go to our YouTube channel and you can check it out and hear from the vendors that maybe you had thought you might wanted to stop and talk to. All that information is right there. And that's one of the things that we have really taken a hold of, and that's the multimedia content that we offer. So, yes, we're an online community. Yes, we have news, we have classifieds, we have articles, but we have a lot of podcasts, videos, webinars, coffee conversations, we call it, which is more of a like morning show style, but with
Hmm.
audience participation. And we found that people really like to consume that content. Like, we hear people say, "I listen to you when I'm driving to my job sites," right? I'm
Right.
in the car anyway. I turn it on. Heidi and I do a weekly blend every Wednesday. We go live on YouTube and LinkedIn, and we've had people say, "I listen to you every Wednesday. It's 10-15 minutes, and I learn about what's happening in the industry, what events are coming up, what things I need to be, thinking about." So I think, being that information provider, but doing it in a way that people can listen to it, they can watch it, or they can read about it. And we call that our RLW, Read, Listen, Watch initiative, because I don't really like to watch videos, but I'll listen to something and I'll read
Mm-hmm.
something. So, it's just everybody learns in a different way. And I think that's really important, to deliver the content and the messaging in multiple ways.
Exactly. So for the folks, that we kind of touched on it, but let's do a little deeper dive into the folks that are going, yeah, I'll watch this. I'll watch a little of the coffee shop here, there, the metal coffee shop, Roofer, but I'll watch Randy's Building Wins live or something once in a while. But I can't do this. I don't want to do this. It's too much work to do this. I don't see the value to doing this. And one of the first things I'll say about value, and I'd like to hear what you have to say, but you know, the old adage was people buy from who they know, like, and trust, right? And as a friend of our show, a big friend of our show, and a great friend of Wes and I, Ben Gay III, the Closers series author, publisher, he adds one more, and feel safe with, right? So people buy from who they know, like, trust, and feel safe with. And I feel like when we do these sort of things, when you see, if you're going to do this live from a show as you're a contractor, let's say, or a roofer, uh, and you share your experiences there, you share coming into town with the landscape as the cityscape, you share your experiences. That helps people know you as, using the Billy Bob, as in I get to know Billy, not just this company name with a logo, right? And that's where you become comfortable and go, I don't know, there's just something because I guess I want to backtrack. Not all people, and it's interesting because I just got done writing an article for a magazine that hasn't been published yet, along this series of the different buying types. Analyticals are a little different, but most people want some sort of relationship from who they're buying from, right? Some more than others. Some want a lot, some want very little. but you want to take it out of a transaction and move it into a relationship, because if it's a relationship, then I'm going to buy from Karen, and guess what? Nobody in the world with 8 billion do Karen better than Karen, right? And I
Right.
think that's where we can do so much with what we do in this kind of virtual social media thing. Does that make any sense what I just rambled on about?
It absolutely does. And, I feel like I need to know a little bit about you as a person. And, because a lot of this industry, it's not cheap, to get this work done,
Right.
to get a new roof,
Hmm.
whatever. That's an investment. And you're going to spend that kind of money. You want to be comfortable or safe, as your word was,
Hmm.
feel safe with that person. And by by being authentic and by sharing all this information, I'm going to feel more like I know who you are, not so much XYZ roofing or ABC metal or whatever. And I encourage people also to share, not necessarily about all about their industry, their product, their shingle, their metal tile, whatever that is, but also about your involvement in the community. What are you doing in your community? What are your employees doing in the community? Did you donate materials or labor for a nonprofit project or help somebody in need? Take pictures of that, share that stuff, because that makes me feel like, wow, they really care. Look at them. They're giving back and helping people in my community that I live in. And that says a lot. And I know a lot of people in the industry are like, well, I do it because I want to help and it's the right thing to do. And I don't want to brag. Well, you're not bragging. You're
Hmm.
sharing,
Right.
that, and you're helping build a relationship with your customers who want to know that about you. I remember when I had some HVAC work done, and this was 7, 8 years ago. And I was meeting with a salesperson in my home, and I asked the question. I said, "What does your company do in the community?" And well, they sponsored a baseball team, and they, some of their one person was a coach, and so they were flexible with his schedule, and that meant a lot to me, and
Hmm.
really, swayed me in one direction about what company I wanted to work with.
Yeah,
It
that makes a
matters.
lot of sense. It does matter. And and even taking that a step further, I understand the little bit of feeling like I'm bragging or self-promoting when you do that, but you're really not. And the flip side of that is if it's a cause that's important, like some of the recent national disasters, whether it's the fires in California or the
Yeah.
the hurricanes in Florida and Georgia and the Carolinas, Tennessee, it doesn't matter. If you're showing what you're doing, it brings attention to the situation, and maybe other people that aren't as forward thinking for whatever reason, just busy, not thinking about it, go, you know, we could donate a metal job. I mean, it's not going to kill us to, take care of one person's, help out a little bit. So you're bringing attention, not just, to help further whatever that cause is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we see it all the time with people um, giving back, some of the manufacturers, the big distributors, and reach out to, if you're not sure what you can do or how to do it, then you can you start by that. Talk to your sales reps and say, hey, are you guys doing any charitable work, and how can I get involved? How can I help?
Hmm. Exactly. So swinging back, because I really want to spend the last few minutes we're going to spend together talking about really social media in general, because that's we kind of chatted about that, and
Yeah.
again we could talk about it forever. Okay, so if you're a novice and really, yeah, you got a Facebook page that you put a post on like 7 weeks ago, right? Um,
Yeah.
so you're not really involved. What um, what's the steps to get started? What do you need to do to become more of a force in the social media world? I think if we've already decided and talked enough about, I think, or made our opinion known anyway, that it's invaluable. It's not even it's necessary. It's almost
Yes.
like it's a has to. I know you and I are agreement on that. So let's get past that. And if anybody watching or listening believe us that this is important, where do I start? Because Karen, Randy, I can barely stand to get on Facebook or LinkedIn. I don't think I
Right.
updated my profile in 5 years. So where do we start with that?
Well, it doesn't even have to be you. Little
Right.
secret, right? There
Hmm.
are platforms and tools out there that first of all, take a look at who's around you, right? Who do you work with every day? This next generation that is coming in and up, they've grown up on social media,
Hmm.
right? So they know how to
Exactly.
do this. They can help you. They can set it up for you if you don't have one, but or evaluate, look at yours and say, yeah, look, give me your login and I'll get this updated for you and I'll clean it up. And then you can use tools at the coffee shops. We currently use Hootsuite. In my
Hmm.
another business, I use one called Social Pilot, where you schedule posts ahead of
Hmm.
time, right? So you find that content, you can
Right.
plan out your week and have so many posts. You just spent one day, a couple of hours, and you make yourself look like, wow, they're posting every time I turn around,
Right.
I'm seeing another post from them. But really, I sat down on a Sunday and I scheduled it out for the week. So, even inside Facebook itself, they have a scheduler. It's called
Hmm.
Meta Business Suite. You go in there and you can use that to plan your posts. I think that's for your business pages only, though. I don't think you can do it on a personal level. But I feel like you can't ignore it. So you figure out a way to make it work, and whether that's having somebody help you or just start poking around, pick one, right? Pick one
Hmm.
platform. I'd recommend Facebook or LinkedIn. They're tried and true. They've been around. Facebook
Yep.
more kind of homeownery, sales relationship type feel. If you're doing commercial projects, LinkedIn is probably better suited for that. But you got to start. And then people say, I don't know what to post. Well, again, let's turn to our manufacturers, our distributors, our sales reps. Randy happens to post stuff a lot on social media. So if you're not following him, you should be. And um, share his stuff, right? You don't have to be posting an original
Right.
content. You can just grab, oh, look what Randy just posted. I like that. He's at this show or he's talking to this person. Grab that and share that onto your platform. Takes 2 seconds. And you can do just about all of that from the things we have in our pockets all the time, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And and I love that point because I was doing a talk somewhere about this not too long ago. They said, why do I can't come up with content? You must spend hours doing content. Actually, I don't.
Right.
I spend some time because I think it's that important. But with that said, as a manufacturer, as an agent for manufacturers, I mean, I could do 30 posts a day by just following my other manufacturers, probably typically non-competitors, right? And following customers that aren't even my world, but people in our industry, and literally, like you said, literally share. I share a lot of stuff, and you know the Rubios from Western States Metal Roofing well, and they're good friends of mine. I share their stuff. They're never going to do business with me because we're too far apart,
Right.
but they're industry friends. I love what they do. They have some great content, and so, I mean, again, I could do nothing today of my own, and I'd have all the posts that you'd want to see from me, probably just simply by sharing what other people do, make a comment, sometimes like it, make a comment and share, depending on whatever. But the other thing you can do that I found it takes so little time again with your phone is you walk around your job site. Let's just say you're a roofer and the boys are lifting up the last sheet of steel. What a great quick video. Hey, we're
Yeah.
finishing up. It's 4 o'clock. We're going to get this thing wrapped up before the end of the day. Uh, 30-minute, 30-second video, throw it up on Facebook, throw it on Reels, throw it on TikTok, throw it wherever you want to throw it, right? It really takes no time, takes some time, but very little time if you just put a mindset and be in I call it you got to be a habitual looker for content. Always going, oh, hey, you know what? That'd make a great content. Maybe I'm going to shoot a picture of it. Maybe I'll use it someplace someday. And or if it's interesting to me, oh, look at the beautiful IRE show entrance. Wow, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
I want people to know when I get into like Atlanta a few weeks ago, where we was together. I want you seeing me with the Atlanta skyline. I'm here. Who's around? Right? Boom, quick. Walking into the show. Hey, there's Karen and the gang over. I'll see
Yeah.
them in a while. You do that stuff, and it lets people, like you said, know you're engaged, know you're involved, know you're somebody that maybe they ought to know, right? And that's
Yeah.
key because visibility equals opportunity is a statement I love to use, and if we have to be visible in today's world, because with social media, that's the part. And I'm going to shut up again. I sometimes get going, but I get passionate about this, as you can tell. The other side of social media, a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So if I only post something, I guess something's better than, I guess it's like running. I guess running once a year is better than none, but not by much. You got to have some consistency, right? If you only
Right.
post, and I did a post, I did a post like 3, 4, or 5 months ago. All right,
Mm,
whatever. I'm
yeah.
not so sure you could have saved your time, probably, in my opinion, but it doesn't take that much time to do it. So it's a commitment, but it's not that hard to accomplish if your mindset is such that I just need to be talking to my people.
Right, right. And I always like to remind people, well, for two things I want to say. First of all, is be kind to yourself, right? Remember when we
Hmm.
were talking about authenticity? It's
Hmm.
fine. I could look at a video and go, "Oh my gosh, my hair was messed up or stick." Just nobody cares.
Nope.
They just want to see what you're doing. The second thing is always remember safety, especially if you're a contractor. If you're taking that last piece of whatever up and you're going to grab a quick video, make sure you're complying to all safety rules, please, because
Good
you don't want to
idea.
be putting stuff out there that is going to be a red flag or proof for an OSHA inspector that you were doing something that wasn't
Yes.
legit. So just be careful when you're on job
Yep.
sites.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
What do you think about, because I didn't want to get off of this without chatting about it, because it's one of the biggest subjects out there right now is AI, artificial
Yeah.
intelligence. You know, and I'm going to give you, I admit, as a little bit of an old schooler becoming a new schooler, if you will. When it first came out, I was like everybody else, and I was like I was probably with the internet and with social media and everything else. Is I ain't never doing that. That's scary. But boy, once you start diving into what it can do for you, you're gonna get behind real fast if you don't learn it and stay up on it and make use of it. Is that a correct statement, or am I off base?
No, I think you are 100% correct. I think that it's important to remember. So if you think of Chat GPT, the G stands for generative
Hmm.
predictive text. Generative means it makes stuff up. And
Hmm.
I saw a speaker in December. I was actually at the Sports Builders Winter Conference because they're all, they do courts and tracks and they all need coatings, and we have Coatings Coffee Shop.
Right.
But I heard a former Google employee speaking on AI, and he gave an example of an attorney that used it in a legal case, and he had all these findings that in this case this happened in this, and he like gave it to the judge, and it was all made up. It didn't exist. So
Oh
it's
wow.
I think Chat GPT and the AI can be a tool that can help you, that can provide um, if I'm stuck, if I'm writing something and I need some inspiration, I'll say, what are some ways of blah, blah, blah? And it'll spit a bunch out for me. And I'll say, okay,
Yes.
that just gave me more ideas. What it's great for, like if you need to write a job description, you could do a project foreman job description and it'll spit it out based on what it finds on the internet and what it thinks, and then you tweak that and
Hmm.
make it your own. As far as
Exactly.
using it in AI, it's interesting. Our editor attended a webinar on social media and AI, and a lot of the creators or the marketers that were on that webinar kind of frowned about it, about using it, because it tends to be repetitive.
Hmm.
um,
It
I
does.
can tell usually if I'm reading something, if AI was involved in it,
Yes.
it repeats itself in a couple different ways. So it can be a really powerful tool, and it keeps getting better. There are lots of ways that it can help you in your business. It's a powerful tool. It's a little bit scary. I agree, Randy, but if you're not trying it, you need to. It's free.
Creed, and you try it, and like you said, the one thing that, and I think this is really important, um, if I whether I'm writing a blog or I'm writing an article for a magazine or something, I will never have AI just write the article, because that's
Right.
disingenuous. Because I take it, if you're willing to read a 150 word blog or a 3,000 word article, Uh, I take that's an honor to me that you would read that,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to give you me. Now, what I'll use it for, those, if I'm sitting in the evening going, I want to write a blog, I need a new blog, I want to put something out, and you just go, I don't know what the hell I want to talk about. I will go, give me 15 ideas, knowing what you know about me, yada, yada, yada,
Yes.
about the metal roofing industry. And it's like in about an eighth of a second, I got 15 things. And I'm going, absolutely not. No way. No way. Maybe. No way. Oh, that's what I want to write. That
Yeah.
is where the super time consumer is, right? Or
Yeah.
savings is. Because you know how it gets. You're busy, you got a lot doing. And I'm going, I have no idea what I want to do right now. And that's where
Right.
the time savings is, or fixing a little something. You know, you write something and you're going, girl, I hate that paragraph. I just I hate it. So you know, I'm not saying I wouldn't plug it in and say in my voice, in my vernacular, using what you know. Can you fix this a little, right? Because then it'll still fix it, and I still change it, right, to
Right.
suit what I would say. Because you're so right. No matter how much you tell it to do something in your voice, it's still got that AI-ish tone to it, right? So you
It
always got to
does.
go back and fix it. But with
You
that
do.
said, it's going or it's not going to go away.
Right. No.
And if you
Mm-mm.
don't start learning it now, it's kind of like, to me, if you wait too long, it would be like taking a 20-year-old that never had even basic math and saying, now you're in an algebra class.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
nothing to build on, right? At least start experimenting, start playing, start learning, start using, so that as it continues to grow and as you find more and more reason that you either need to or want to use it, you're starting in sophomore math, not first grade math, right? And
Yes. Yeah.
we're going to be in trouble if you don't, because it's like everything else. It goes so fast. Whatever we think we know about it today, next week, and next month is going to be like, well, that's way yesterday, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. It's getting better and better. And even, I when I do interviews, because one of my side gigs is I write for some manufacturers, and I sometimes will
mhm,
interview a subject matter expert, and I'll send it over to rev.com because they do transcripts, but they have an option to pull an AI transcript. And
mm,
it's cheap and I get it within like 10 minutes and it's
mhm,
really good. So it's
yeah,
it's AI listening to my recorded conversation and then spitting back a transcript. And yeah, there's a couple words that are off, but I know what the subject was about,
mhm,
so I know, oh, there that they mean this word. But I,
right.
so I can fix that. But that's invaluable for me to reference while I'm writing about a topic. And it's there, it is bringing a lot of work to the construction industry because data centers are going up like
Oh yeah,
nobody's business. So
yeah,
and yes, it uses electricity and there's the sustainability component, but what if we put solar on those data centers, man? Right?
exactly,
Long big
exactly.
buildings. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, and it's funny. Back to AI, and then I'll let you get out of here because you've been very kind of your time. But the what I found is that it learns you. So the more you use it,
Yeah.
the more it learns your voice, the way you talk, the way you think. And the other thing, as strange as this is, and I'm talking to somebody probably way smarter in this than I, but I'm learning. Simple as this is weird, weird, weird. I know. Tell it did good and thank it. I mean, I literally, if it gives me something that was like, man, that was pretty spot on, I'll say, That was perfect. Exactly. Love that." Because it remembers what I did. And I can see it when I do something later. It's remembering that it liked what it did for me. If that makes sense.
Oh no, now you're giving it human
It's a
characteristics and that freaks me out.
It is a little freaky, but it's pretty amazing. But well, Karen, you've been kind with your time, and I know you got lots going on. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. But
Yeah.
what as we kind of wrap down, what's your final words from the world of the coffee shops? And give us your last. And this will call this, as Wes reminds me, to should ask questions, because I always have a lot of frequently asked questions. But what did we miss today, or when you're out and about doing what you do every day? Do you wish people would ask about you, about the coffee shop networks? Or the industry in general? What's your final parting words that you just go, gee, Randy, we should have talked about this and we never did.
Yeah, I know, Randy. You threw me a curveball here. I wasn't expecting to have to think on
I
my
would have
feet so
told you
quickly.
that. I would have told you that up front, but you're the consummate pro, so I didn't. That and I
You
forgot
know,
about it, to be brutally honest.
I that's okay. I think people should ask what's new and what's next because
Mm,
we're just continuing to grow and grow and grow. And we're recording this. It's early February. We're about to head out to the International Roofing Expo. We're going to have a couple of press releases that are coming out around the show, announcing some new things because we're always trying to be forward thinking in a way of what is nobody doing right now that we
mhm.
think could help the industry that we could bring to the industry? And
Love it.
we're going to have a couple of announcements like that around IRE. So stay
Can't wait.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Love it. Love it. Well, Karen, as always, it's great to chat with you. And thank you for being on. And we'll do it again sometime. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
And
like I
I'll
said,
see you in Texas.
you got it. I'm going to bring a big old 10-gallon hat or something. I don't know. Big buckle, plaid
Nice.
shirt, and look the part with furs. Oh, all right. Karen, thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Appreciate you.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, folks. That's my good friend Karen with the coffee shops, we'll call it. But if you don't follow the Roofers Coffee Shop, the Metal Coffee Shop, the Coatings Coffee Shop, and Ask a Builder, then you're missing out. You've got to follow those people. Great contact, great people. Get to know them. See them at the shows. Stop in and say hey. Jump on an interview if you can. Be part of the industry. And hope you take a message today. Learn AI, it's important, but social media, virtual, man, it ain't going away, folks. It is not going away. And so it's really, really important that we involve ourselves. So if I can ever help, you ever have a question, you want to comment, you want to chat about it, you can always reach out to me. And remember a couple things. I'm doing it right here, right now. Love what you do and do what you love. You only get one go around, so live it, love it, own it. And while you're at it, go make today your best day ever. Till tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.